just check in with Karina and see if there's something specific that you wanted to look at or work on today.
Yes, thank you. I think it would be great to get some help to clear energy that's not mine.
Okay. So carrying other people's energy?
Yeah, just, you know, I mean, let me know how specific you want me to be. I'm happy to explain more but yeah.
Yeah, you can give me a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so after, let's see, nutshell story. It's
Yeah.
my ex-husband who we've been divorced for 15 years and he just, you know, won't leave me alone. And I've been really working on just letting go whatever he's doing, not jumping to, not getting upset about it, not reacting to it, not rescuing my kids that are impacted by this. And so my adult kids. And I just, you know, like he was in my dreams again last night and it was just like, get out of here. Please.
Not invited into those spaces.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm drawn to starting with a meditation. So for everyone, so we'll just wait a couple of minutes and like let people into the room. And so everyone can join in with this meditation practice. Morning, Elijah. Welcome. You're new to me. I haven't met you before, and I was just checking in with some ladies about what's up and what you want to work on today. And I've been guided to start with a meditation that can bring us into heart-brain coherence, that can release and let go of anyone else's energy that isn't ours, and also cultivating the various different positive qualities of the heart. That's what I've been guided to do to start. And then, you know, I can work with each of you if you've got specific things that didn't get addressed inside the meditation. So it's only 2 minutes past. So I want to give it a little bit more time for more people to join in. So meanwhile, I'll just check in with the people that have joined us. Good morning, Sina. How are you this morning?
Doing okay.
Okay, do you have a specific request of something that you want to work on?
Clarity.
Clarity?
Yes.
Mind clarity. Okay, I will include that in the meditation. You guys are designing my meditation for me to start. Carolyn, good morning. Did you have a specific request? Something that you wanted us to work on?
Yeah, my spiritual gifts.
Your spiritual gifts.
Yes.
Excellent. You know, that is a topic that I specialize in, and I've put a link in already in the chat. Maybe I knew you were coming this morning, that connects you to an article that I've written all about how to connect to your spiritual gifts. And it invites you to do a quiz that helps you identify what your specific path may be about and what your specific gifts are. So that's an excellent first step, you know, to get more information about that and more connected to it. But after we've done the meditation, I'll check back in with you to see if there's something a little more specific that we can do to kind of connect and open those up for you.
Okay, thank you.
All righty, Elijah. Good morning. Oh, here's Yvette.
Good morning.
Elijah, are you there?
Good morning.
Morning. Do you have a specific request or something specific that you'd like me to work on for you this morning?
No, I think I'm here to observe and
I can't quite understand that. The volume must be pretty low.
I think that I'm here to maybe observe and just absorb and see what happens.
Okay, that sounds perfect. And if you feel like you want to jump in at any point, and if you feel like something arises for you that you want me to specifically focus on for you as we go through the time, then, you know, just let me know. You can type something in the chat, or you can put your hand up and let me know, and I will address that.
Thank you.
All righty, and welcome. Hey, Yvette, good morning. Are you there, Yvette?
Hi,
Okay,
can you
so-
hear me? Can you hear me?
Hi, there you are, Yvette. How are you this morning?
Good. I am out, so I just wanted to join however I could, but I wanted to listen in and experience your call.
Okay, great. So welcome. I'm happy you're here. And same thing for you, as I said to Elijah, if there's something that kind of comes up for you as we go through the call that you want to specifically address or look at, then put your hand up or text me in the chat something that you want to look at. So I feel like we've got a lot of people on the call already, and we're 7 minutes in. So let's start with a meditation that can get us grounded and can bring us into heart-brain coherence, so we can be in a more expanded state as we begin this call. So if you can, you know, close your eyes, put your hands on your belly, and start to breathe slower and deeper than normal. And each time that you inhale, visualize all of your energy coming in through the crown of the head, descending through your central channel and arriving into the home of your belly. And each time that you exhale, release and let go of everything that isn't yours. You release and you let go on the flow of the outward breath, inhaling and reclaiming, exhaling and releasing. Inhaling through the crown of the head, your energy that may have been distracted throughout the morning and throughout the week, inviting all of your soul's essence to come back in through the crown of the head and arriving into the home of the belly. Increasing the breath to be deeper and slower by expanding the belly, opening the ribs, opening the chest, and pausing for just a moment. And then as you exhale, you deflate the chest first, then the ribs, and then the belly, just inviting the navel to come towards the spine. Inhaling, expanding the belly, opening the ribs, opening the chest. Pause here. Notice the effects of the pause. Then exhale, deflate the chest, then the ribs, and finally the belly. Repeating the mantra to yourself, I am willing to be with myself as I am. Cultivating a sense of awareness and a sense of acceptance of everything that is inside your inner universe in this moment. Willing to be with myself as I am. And then inhale and invite the awareness and the hands to come onto the center of the chest in the area of the heart, cultivating an inward tone of kindness and friendliness towards yourself, elevating your internal frequency to love or above, and to enter into that healing frequency. Just visualize someone that you love, a child or a pet, an easy, unconditional love feeling. Trust that your body is responding to this vision or this thought, and elevating your vibration into the love frequency. And feel that feeling emanate from the center of your chest and move in circles like ripples on a pond, expanding to include your entire torso, down through the hips, into the legs and the feet, up through the back of the legs and the back of the body, down over the crown of the head, down over the face, back into the heart. Establishing your emotional vibration inside this frequency of love. Opening the heart to explore the different qualities of this energy center. Think about something or someone that you're grateful for, and feel that feeling of gratitude. Further expand and open up the heart and trust that your body is responding to this invitation. Feel that feeling of gratitude emanate from your heart to bathe all of your cells. And to further expand the opening of your heart, think about someone or something that you appreciate. It could be a person, it could be an experience, it could be the ocean or something in nature. And feel that feeling of appreciation fill your heart center, and all of the cells throughout your entire system are responding into this healing vibration. Think of someone that you want to extend forgiveness towards. And forgiveness is about giving back someone else their energy. So if there's someone who's caused some offense or some harm to you, on the flow of the outward breath, send them back their energy so that injury or that harm can go back to its source and be resolved there, outside of your system, inside the originating source of that energy. And you send that back on the flow of the outward breath. Inhaling a feeling and experience of love, appreciation, gratitude, and exhaling and extending forgiveness out of the heart center. Using the deep breaths, deeper and slower than normal, and then connect to the vibration and the emotion of compassion. A little dose of empathy, a little dose of kindness, a little dose of love. And feel that feeling of compassion and trust that your body's responding to this invitation, and send that energy towards yourself extending kindness and compassion towards your own heart, and exhaling and releasing anything that doesn't belong to you, that isn't yours, on the flow of the outward breath. Sometimes it's good to just make a sound to ground in a vibration or a feeling, and trust that your body is responding to this invitation. On the next inhale, just raise your arms up and wiggle your fingers and stretch, and invite this vibration and this feeling to come back with you into your open eyes and your presence in this call. And welcome, everybody. I know a couple of people jumped on while I was doing that meditation. I hope that that's landing well for you guys and it's feeling good in your system. And I'm going to start by responding to a couple of people who I talked to earlier. And I'm going to start with Julie, because Julie was on first. And Julie made a request. And, you know, one of the requests was to do a little clearing. And I hope that was helpful for you, Julie, what we just did. I just want to check in. Was it? Are you feeling pretty good?
I really appreciated it because I could feel it so much. And I realized that a big key for me is to be able to feel what I have the feeling with the thoughts, like instead of just the thought of gratitude or the thought of trust, to feel those feelings. And that was very helpful what you did.
Yeah, that is
in
the
meditation.
key. You know? Yeah, that is the key. It's not just thinking about gratitude or thinking about appreciation. It's actually entering into that frequency and that vibration. And that little tool, you know, to remember a time, you know, positive memory or even imagination. You know, the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between an experience and an imagination. So if you can't remember a time or think about a person, just imagine what it would feel like, and your mind body will respond to that, and it will open up into that experience. So you will gain the benefit of occupying those positive frequencies. So I'm glad that was helpful. And I know that you had another question. And do you just want to ask the question again?
Sure. My question was, do you have some advice for helping bring negative thinking patterns to neutralize them?
I do. And this is a big question. And I know a lot of people have this question. And for me, there are 3 steps of transformation to transform negative thinking patterns into positive thinking patterns. And they're simple steps, not necessarily easy to implement, but that's the practice. That's the journey of life, to go through the practice of implementing these 3 steps. So I'll just touch briefly into each of those steps, and then I'll check back in with you and see if they're helpful to you and if there's more information that you might need on any one of these steps. But these steps are for everyone, you know, because we all have this challenge of really understanding how to master our mind. And when we can, you know, get into that place where we can get ahead of our thoughts and we can be in positive influence in relationship with our thoughts, that's a transformative experience in our life. So it's not a small question, it's not a small thing, but they are simple steps. So the first step, and the Buddhists call this the practice of Shrumpa. And the first step is to notice a discursive thought or a negative thought as soon as you can. As soon as you start noticing you're in a negative cycle or you're going down a negative path with your thinking, stop, take a time out. And what I advise is that you get a journal or you get a piece of paper and you write them out. Negative thought number one that started this is, oh, I'm not feeling like I'm going to have a good day today. I'm feeling a little stressed. I'm feeling like, there's just too much to do, or I'm overwhelmed, or I can't get to the things that I need to get to, or I'm never going to be able to feel the way that I want to feel, or however it is that it goes in your pattern of thoughts. You'll find there's one thought that's followed by another thought, that's followed by another thought that keep you in that spiral of negative thinking. So first step is awareness of what are the negative thought patterns and write them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The more you can sort of participate in that as if it's a fun game. Aha, I caught it. I caught the one that started it, or I caught the second one, and I'm not going to let it go any further. I'm calling a timeout to my negative brain. I'm going to ask it to step aside, and I'm going to go to step number 2. So step number 2, once you've written them down and you've caught them out at their game, you invite them to go into their opposite positive possibility. Opposite positive possibility. So what does that mean? So if my first thought is, oh, I'm feeling stressed out today, I'm probably not going to have a good day. Opposite positive possibility. I am in my heart in a vibration of compassion. My day is excellent. So you create an antidote for the negative thought that's the opposite positive. Whether you believe it's true or not, you most likely will not believe that it's true, but you kind of take a leap of faith into putting energy into that perception that is the opposite positive of the current one that's running the show. Then I'm going to move forward with step number 3, and then I'm going to check in with you, Julie, and see how you're doing with that. Step number 3 has 2 parts. The first part is for your conscious mind, and the second part is for your subconscious mind, because I'm sure kind of most of you know, 90% of our actions come from our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind contains our conditioning, our habits, our automatic thinking. So we deal with the 2 aspects of the mind slightly differently. So the way that we deal with the conscious mind is practice. So practice means that Buddhist practice of Shrimpa, every time you notice that negative thought come up into your mind, stop, time out. I'm not going to put time, energy, or attention into that thought. I'm going to be disciplined, and I'm going to be committed to not allowing that spiral and that cycle to perpetuate. The second part is for the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind needs nourishment. It needs to be fed the positive thoughts that you create in step number 2. So how do we do that? There's certain things that the subconscious mind needs. Number 1, it needs repetition. Number 2, it needs statements that are positive and present. And it needs to be in the third person. So it needs to be a you statement, as if it's happening now. So what I recommend that you do, I recommend that you listen to my meditations. I recommend that you come see me and we talk about how to do it. But if you want to do something simple that you can do yourself straight away today to start to retrain your subconscious mind, get your phone, go to the voice memo, record into the phone what you wrote in step 2. which is all of your antidotes, all of your opposite positive statements to what you said in step 1. So then you listen to that every day for 30 days as you're going to sleep. And the purpose of that is repetition. The subconscious mind needs repetition to create new neural pathways and to create change on a physiological level. Repetition and relaxation. So you need to be out of your beta brain waves, which is what we're in when we're in conscious awareness. And we need to be just down to alpha. When we're in alpha, the subconscious mind is open. So you can receive in the new messages that create the new neural pathways, that creates the new physiology, that then creates your new mental pattern. Okay, so I know that's a lot. That's a lot of information. And I just want to check in with you, Julie, to see how that landed for you and to see if you've got any questions about that or any comments or anything that you want to talk about with that.
I love it. I worked on myself many times over the years, and sometimes I just I slip back or I forget what I can do. And so this is very helpful, and I really appreciate it. And I just realized I think the practice part is just the most important thing, and I want to do it because it's a great idea, great practice, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great, Julie. I'm glad that you asked that question, and I was able to sort of provide some practical answers for, how to do this sort of esoteric kind of journey and this esoteric process, but it really is quite simple. And you're right, the practice part, that is the skill. That's the skill of life, I believe, if we can get to that place where we can really, go, okay, I'm going into a negative cycle here, and it's not a habit that I want to cultivate. I don't want to feed it with my time, energy, and attention, and I'm going to switch it, and I'm going to start to feed what I really choose to be feeding, which is my positive affirmations and my positive intention and attention for myself. All right, Julie, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. And then I want to jump back to Karina, because I know that you asked me a question, and I'm wondering if you want to share with the group sort of what your question was, so we can get to the root of this one.
Well, I don't know that I had a question. Let me know if I need to formulate one. I'm happy to try. It was a request to just clear energy out that is not mine, or to, it's just somebody that's trying to be in my life that I don't want to be in my life. And I'm trying to just let go of worrying about it, or thinking about it.
Do you know, I'm going to ask you this question. You might know the answer to this and you might not, but I'm going to ask the question. Do you know how it's hooked in to you? Do you know how you get pulled into paying attention to that person that you really don't want to be paying attention to?
You mean like a real hook in real life?
Well, whatever way that makes sense to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, the sort of the problem that I have is that I have a mentally disabled son with him. So he'll send me an email is a hook. I have them going into the garbage can, and I'll go look in the trash, and but I feel like at least every other week I need to at least see if there's anything. And it's been a lot less, but they always bring me anxiety, and it's kind of like, what's he up to at this point? And just, he's going to pull my son out of a group home that I worked really, really hard to get him into. So, it's not little stuff, it's big stuff. And I'm trying to just let it go and just leave it to bigger forces than me. And, I've done everything I can, and I need to stop tap dancing to these things.
So a couple of things are coming up for me in response to this challenge or this issue. And I feel like a lot of people have something similar going on in their world. So thank you for asking the question. So the tools that I used in the meditation, of releasing and letting go on the flow of the outward breath, everything that isn't yours, is something that I would encourage you to participate in, because that's energetically sending back his energy. But I have a sense, and here's what I would invite you to explore. And everyone, if they've got something like this going on in their lives, I would invite you to explore, what is your agreement with him? And really try to put words to your conscious agreement with him, your emotional agreement with him, your energetic agreement with him, and your moral or your ethical agreement with him. Because I feel like if you fully illuminate that and you fully have clarity at your root, what the answer is to those questions, you're going to be able to stand really solidly and rooted in what you will and won't respond to in terms of his energetic participation. So also examine for yourself, what are your beliefs around what his agreement is with you? And do you, for example, I'm not going to project into this, but do you believe that he's intentionally disrupting and disturbing your life, your world, your peace? Do you believe that he is using your child as a source or a way to manipulate? And really just fully illuminate all of those beliefs and everything that sits underneath, maybe just beneath the surface right now because they haven't been looked at this way, to see, is there anything in those perceptions or in those beliefs that is not serving you? And any perception that doesn't serve you is a perception that doesn't reflect what you want. And see, can you switch those perceptions to truly reflect what you want rather than what you perceive is true and what you perceive is right? And I know it sounds counterintuitive to not speak or express or stand in what you perceive and believe is true, because that's your intuition, right? That's your guidance. That's the truth that you're being told. I see this. I see that this is what's going on. I see that this is what he might be doing or what he might be up to. And independently of whether it's accurate and true, when it comes to strengthening your energetic position, you want to only feed and fuel the perceptions that reflect the experience that you're actually wanting to have. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that's my invitation. And when I put forward invitations like this, I literally mean to kind of sit down and write out, this is the agreement, this is what's going on energetically. Because when we sort of elevate what might be happening in a momentary energetic exchange into our conscious awareness, when we elevate to that position, then we're able to actually do something with that energetic exchange by participating with it intentionally and consciously.
I haven't been on here a half hour.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
20 minutes, maybe.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so any more questions? Anything else that you have on that I haven't addressed or I haven't got to before I move on to whoever it is that wants to jump in next?
Thank you. Thanks so much.
I didn't hear you.
Thank you. I'm good. Yeah, that was.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Karina. Lovely to see you on here. I hope that's helpful. Anybody else got anything? You can raise your hands or you can send me a little message in the chat. Yes,
And
Carolyn.
Hi.
Hi.
I just, excuse me. I just wanted to ask, I know that I've always had spiritual gifts since I was little, but I kind of, it wasn't accepted back then. So I kind of just shelved it. And after a tragedy in the family, the spirit world just opened up to me. And I know I always had a problem trusting what I received from spirit, but I feel like I got over that. However, I'm still not as comfortable as I feel I should be. So I don't know if there's a blockage, there's something I'm not releasing that I should, or it's just a matter of practicing more. Because what I do get is spot on, and yet I still have that hang up. So I don't know if there's something I can do to strengthen that. Sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy, and I just want to be the voice of spirit to bring comfort to people like I received when I got it.
Thank you, Carolyn, for asking that question. It's such an important question. So, what form do the gifts take now? I mean, how does your intuition work? Do you get direct downloads? Do you get visions? Do you hear things? How does it?
A lot of it is, well, I do get intuition. Most is hearing, and it's just a knowing. I have had vision. I have had times where I do see things that spirit is showing me in relation to a reading. I, excuse me, I don't charge for anything. Everything I do is just to help people. So there are many times that I do see things as well, but it's still that insecurity that I have.
Yeah. So while you were talking, I was looking at some cards, and I want to share with you what I got from those cards. So these cards are my oracle deck that I created. And I don't know if you can see this one, but it says, I'll show you the card and then I'll read it to you. It says, old energy is clearing. New energy is entering. Great things are coming. Be patient. So I feel like when you were talking, you actually named what the obstacle might be, and you named kind of how to go forward with it. So the other cards that I got, I'll show you. I got 9 of Cups, Ace of Swords, and the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is the card of your intuition and your guidance. And the Ace of Swords, aces are very positive in readings because they speak about brand new ways of doing things. Ace of Swords is brand new thinking. And it's interesting because it's kind of related to Julie's question and the 3 steps that I gave for how to transform negative thoughts into positive thoughts. 9 of Cups is positive, harmonious relationship. So that's also supportive of you. But I want to talk about Ace of Swords in relationship to your High Priestess first, and then I'll talk about the relationship piece. So the journey that I invite you to go on is to go on that 3 steps to transforming thinking. And you said, sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough. So that's a clue into what needs to be transformed first. So I would encourage you to fully illuminate that idea, that thought, that cycle of thinking. And fully illuminate it means doing step 1, write out everything that's connected to that belief and that idea. It's a 3rd chakra path. It's a 3rd chakra obstacle. And I feel like we're in very interesting times right now, because I feel like we're being offered an opportunity to break through our obstacles to arrive fully into our highest potential and fully into our gifts. So I feel like just in the energies that are around us in the earth right now, we're supported in doing this sort of transformative process. So for you, fully illuminate that perception, that belief, and that idea around not being enough, not being good enough. Follow those 3 steps that I talked about. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, I've got a lot of tools and a lot of ways in which I can help you go a little bit further with digging and speaking to your subconscious mind, so we can actually pull up what's going on with that. So that's an invitation for you if you want to go deeper with that. Also, there's one more thing that I want to share with you. So because we know we're working in the 3rd energy center, I want to give you a little energy clearing practice to do every morning. Okay? So I'll do it with you now. We can do it together. And anyone else who feels like they might have something going on with this question, you know, around 3rd chakra, not feeling enough, struggling with an obstacle of thinking or energy that may be residing here in the 3rd chakra. I'm going to guide you in a practice. It's very short, but very powerful. It's quite potent, and it will create change. So if you're ready for change, do the practice. If you're not, then don't do it. Okay, so I want you to come with me. I want you to close your eyes and put your hands one on top of the other on top of the solar plexus here in the 3rd chakra. And we're going to do a little breathing practice here. And the breath that we're invited to do is through an open mouth on the inhale and the exhale. We're going to inhale enthusiastically through an open mouth for a count of 4. Exhale softly through an open mouth for a count of 2. So it goes like this. So I invite you to continue with that breathing. And as you're breathing, I'm just going to be giving you a little bit more information for what's going on, what's happening. Inhaling deeply and enthusiastically, softly surrendering on the exhale. So the breath is like a wave that comes in on the ocean. It comes in strongly and enthusiastically, and then it goes out softly, because we're bringing in more energy than we're letting go of. And the body might want to even it out, but just go against that instinct and do more in than you're doing out. This breathing clears out any undigested, blocked emotional energy around this energy center. And as you're breathing, I'm just going to share some affirmations to support the unblocking of this energy center. And the truth is that you are enough. You are worthy. You deserve to have access to your full spiritual capacity, your full spiritual nature. The truth is, you are perfectly loved and lovable, just as you are, worthy of your full energetic expansion, clearing and awakening inside this energy center. On the next inhale, take a deep, full breath, and then hold the breath as long as you comfortably can. And then when you have to let it go, and only when you have to let it go, blow it out slowly, as if you're blowing out a candle. And when you've completed that cycle of breath, raise the hands into the center of the heart. And then visualize someone or something that you love, a child or a pet, an easy, unconditional love feeling. And feel that feeling emanate from the center of your chest, expanding down through your torso, your hips, into your legs, up your back, into your head, bathing all of your cells inside this healing frequency, digesting and clearing any obstacles, transforming them into opportunities and access and connection to your true intuitive nature. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. And I just want to check in with you, how you're doing, how that's feeling for you, and just see how you are.
That was extremely emotional,
Yeah.
very emotional. And I kept seeing the colors green and blue, but the emotion really took over.
That's, you know, to me, that's excellent news that was emotional, because what you're doing is you're touching into energies and feelings that you haven't been able to digest, and just bringing your loving attention to those emotions starts to help you to integrate those and bring them back. So did the emotion come up with the breathing, or did the emotion come up with the affirmations?
With the affirmations.
So that's what that tells me is that your heart and your body mind is ready to receive the truth of those affirmations, that you are worthy and you are enough, and your body is thirsty and hungry for that information. So I'd love to support you further. As I say, I've got tools that are specifically designed to do that job of nourishing up the places where we've been depleted, so that we can clear out those obstacles and truly transmute those obstacles once and for all, because the obstacle is the opportunity. And what I've discovered on my journey of working with people is the very place where we feel challenged or we feel obstructed is going to be the place that we become the strongest. And it's going to give us the greatest access to our gifts and our capacity. So for you, kind of opening up into this area energetically and to this truth mentally, it brings you into a deeper connection with your natural gifts and your natural capacity, so that you can share it with the world, because, you know, the world's ready. And it seems to me like you're ready too. your spirit's definitely ready. It's kind of like, let me get through this and get to this place and get to this action and this activity in my life so that I can really express who I am. So I want to go back to this card. Remember, old energy is clearing. New energy is entering. Great things are coming. Be patient. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good. So as I say, you know, I would encourage you to take a look at the article that I wrote, do the quiz, because you're here. We did the practice. You've already taken the step on the path. So then the next step shows up as clear, and then the next step shows up as clear. So I'm excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know,
I'm
for taking these steps.
I'm very excited.
That's good. I'm excited for you too. And I do feel like right now we're in a place in the world where we're all being invited to kind of go through this journey of clearing our history, expanding our container, elevating our vibration, and then manifesting the truth of our spiritual expression. That's
Right.
where I feel like we are. That's where I feel like you are. I feel like everyone who's on the call is there to one degree or another. And, you know, that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm super excited about this platform and what Dean's offering and you know, that we can do this. We get to do this. Somewhere when we were in a cloud, we made this agreement to come down here and do this and get through these particular challenges in this particular way to get us going in this direction, or to bring us back home, you know, to the truth of who we are. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for your question and participating the way that you did. And, you know, I would say those tears are really, you know, sweetness. It's just energy being released and being digested so that you can come to know your true worthiness and have true access to your confidence, your security, and your power so that you can go in this direction.
Thank you so much. I will answer questions. God bless.
God bless to you too. So I think we've addressed the people who already put forward questions. So we haven't got loads of time, but we've got a little bit of time for someone else. If they have something, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself, or I'll just give you guys a minute to do that. Sina, did you have a question?
Yes, but I was going to let other people go. I have decision fatigue. I have so many opportunities and I'm overwhelmed by them, and I don't know which one's in my highest good. I get excited, really excited about things, and then I want to start down that path, and then everything's a shiny object to me. That's it.
Well, you know, it's a nice problem because it sounds like you've got lots of opportunities, but it feels like the solution, the best solution for you, I'm going to say it and then I'm going to check it with the cards, is to come into your heart and to come into your heart-brain coherence, because it feels like you might be pushing too many things through the brain. And that fatigue is coming because the brain's overworking, and the brain is brilliant. We love the brain. It can do brilliant functions. But when it comes to being clear about choices, you really want to be in your heart, and you really want to be in your feeling, you know, what are you, when you get connected, here's what I'd encourage you to do. Take a moment to visualize each of your opportunities and close your eyes and feel into them. feel into the vibration and the frequency of what each of those opportunities brings up. And then write it down. Write down what the feeling qualities were that you got connected to with each of those opportunities. And then when you're in a state of, we just kind of, I guided you through ways to get to that. And I know you're on the course, so you kind of know how to do that. Then you can make a choice. You try to make a choice out of a brain fatigue or a state of confusion. Really wait until you get into that coherent state and make your choices out of that place. Another thing that I would contribute, that the cards have to contribute, the Magician. Really think about which of the choices that are in front of you align with your gifts, your magic, what gets you excited, what you have natural energy for, a natural instinct about, and that will guide you. That will keep you clear on your step, moving you in alignment with your spirit, in alignment with your gifts, in alignment with your purpose. And when you're doing all of that, you're going to elevate your experience of happiness and fulfillment, because that's an important part of the decision making. So you've got feeling alone. So you're not alone. I'm here with you. There are lots of tools and practices in the intuition course that I know that you're in that can help you, so we can continue to go through that process. Then you've got new beginnings in 4 days to 4 weeks to practice coming into this, heart-brain coherence. Then the card that I got for you, out of my deck that I've made, is turning adversity into your advantage, holding a perspective of purposefulness. So seeing that everything that is present, that's showing up, is purposeful. It's intended to support you to step into your full advantage, which is you utilizing your magician, connecting to your spiritual gifts, connecting to your magic, aligning with your path of purpose. So, and also the obstacle that I would encourage you to be mindful of is this idea that you're alone. You're not alone. You are always connected to your higher power, to the highest power of the universe, and to all those that you love, and you're connected to me, you're connected to this group, you're connected to community. You have a lot of connections going on. Any last questions with that, or did that feel like it sort of addressed it for you?
Oh, that more than answered it. Thank you.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Thank you, Sina. And I'm looking like, oh my God, I can't believe how fast this time goes in this hour. It just seems to fly for me. So I'm going to have to close here. I think Maisha's here and she's going to take over right on noon. And I encourage you to stay and listen to her wisdom and her divine channel and all of the goodness that comes from that direction. And I am sorry if I didn't get to you today, but please come back. I'm here every Saturday at 11, and I would love to connect with each of you individually. I'd also encourage you to check out what I put in the chat that I was talking to Carolyn about. It's an article and a quiz that supports you in getting connected to your spiritual gifts and to your particular path on this journey of life that we're doing. So thank you so much for coming. Namaste, love and light and blessings. And it's up to you, Maisha. You're up. Bye.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I'm going to have to organize it so that I can stay one of these days for your entire talk, but I can't do it today, but I will do it.
Happy 4th.
Yes, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, Dean.
Bye. Okay, Dean, can you co-host me so I can record? Anyway, hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Well, those that I can see, actually, it's only me and Dean that I can see. All the rest of you, there you are. Hi, nice to see you. And C-Star, I see that you're there listening. I assume the rest of you are listening. So, okay, let me get started. Oh, there are faces. I get faces. Nice. Nice to see you. Hello, everybody. I'm going to start this off with a prayer that I use to just call the energies in to help us learn and hear whatever it is we need to learn and hear during this session, and to protect us and kind of build a light container around us. And so off we go. Holy divine light of all creation, I come to you in prayer. I call to you now to join and protect our session together today. May you guide our spirits to help us heal, raise our vibrations, and release and remove all that keeps us from our highest good. Show us what we need to see and help us to hear what we need to hear during the session to lead us forward on our path towards love, light, and beauty in our lives. May it be with the blessing of the Supreme Light Being that whatever happened in this session be to the benefit and growth of all. And so it is. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Independence Day in America. I know that other countries have different Independence Days, but this happens to be ours. So, and it is coming in with a bang. And by that, I mean the astrology that we have going on this weekend is very intense. We have a big full moon tomorrow, and the lunar eclipse is happening in the next 24 hours. So if you have felt buildup and tension in the last week, that's what it is. It's affected a lot of people's sleep. I can tell you that. A lot of people that I've talked to have had their sleep all wonky this week. And I keep reminding them, we are in the middle of 2 eclipses, and that just creates some really extreme and intense energy as we're building into this full moon. That is also in line with several retrograde planets. So yeah, things are a little intense these days. And I was listening to another astrologer this morning that talked about buckle your seatbelts, because the movement that's coming in the future with the planets is just going to get a little more intense. So the way that I see it, and emotional, he was talking about the emotional aspect of Cancer. And yes, we're kind of in that. And so a lot of emotional stuff is coming up for people, which when I heard that, I was kind of glad, because I had decided this month to talk about things that we can do to build up our light body. And one of the things that I had decided about today was to talk about forgiveness and to talk about awakening. And I found it interesting when I was listening to this other astrology show, how it was about, he was talking about illumination, and illumination and awakening go together. Both of those go to what we can do to build up our light body. And then when he brought up the Cancer aspect of the emotional turmoil that we're all kind of going through, what needs to be let go? What can we move into to own and strengthen our power. And so he also talked about owning and strengthening our power. So I knew that I was right on when I had decided these subjects for today. So when I think about forgiveness, there is, I can say this for myself. It was like 5 years ago where I was asked to forgive something that was very difficult. And I thought at the time that doing the act of forgiveness for somebody that had harmed me deeply meant letting them off the hook. And it was, thank God I had a really good teacher that explained to me that forgiveness isn't necessarily for the other person. It's for us to free up that energy that we have held, that we are bound to, that is keeping us from moving into our potential at a higher frequency. And so forgiveness isn't necessarily about letting the other person off the hook. In fact, it's not about that at all. It's about releasing you from the chain that connects you to the person that harmed you. Karma will take care of whatever the other person did. But for you to be free, to move on fully into your full potential in your heart, in your joy, in your light, in your illumination, in your awakening, we need to, it's so important that we let go of those energies that are holding us down and that are holding us back and that are keeping us tethered to events in our life that are long gone. They're long gone. We're in present time here, people. We're in the now. This is the now. So it's part of the spiritual evolution that we are going through right now is to lift our spirits up, to strengthen our reserve within our spirits, within our soul. It's kind of like, I keep saying this about spiritual alignment. We have our heart here. Our heart lives in our spirit, and our spirit lives in our soul. And we want all of those connected and beautifully aligned so that we can build our power, strengthen our power, strengthen our light body. So in doing that, that brings us to spiritual awakening. And spiritual awakening is when we start elevating to higher vibrations and higher levels in our spirit, in our body. It's like, living in a body is 3D. Our spirit and our soul are living in dimensions, the fourth dimension and beyond. And so when we come into a body, it actually limits what we can do with our human body, but our spirit and our soul can be working with those higher dimensions at all times. And that's what we want to learn how to operate from on a higher level within our body. And so that is part of our spiritual awakening. Everybody has different stories about episodes that they've gone through that led them to a spiritual awakening. I know the first time that I started seeing angels with my eyes wide open, that was a huge spiritual awakening for me. That was a huge power boost, I want to say. And at first I wasn't exactly sure what was going on. And I had to go to my teacher and say, hey, I'm starting to see angels with my eyes wide open. As a healer and a reader, I'm used to working with my eyes closed. So when I started seeing things with my eyes open, I realized that I was on a path of awakening. And so we all are going through different levels and different variations of what spiritual awakening means to you. So when I was listening to Michelle at the very end, she was talking with someone about how you're never alone. And I pulled a card this morning just before our session, just because I wanted to pull a card about our session. And it was the Kindred Spirits card. And it actually validated 100% what Michelle said about we are never alone. We may be alone physically in our home or wherever we are. Even when we're around other people, we may feel alone, but we always have spirit guides around us. We have angels around us. We have our guardian angel around us. We have, I call them the unseens, the unseen hierarchy, the unseen spirits that are working in the other dimensions, that are helping guide us and teach us and lead us along the way. So there's so much more going on than meets the physical naked eye. And so anybody, today I decided that I was willing to answer if you have any questions, if you have something that you need a healing on. Those of you that are on Facebook, if you want to come over to the Zoom and have a little healing, or if you have a question that you need answered, if you're stuck in your life, or you just, pretty much anything goes, except that I will not read other people without their permission. That is spiritual law. I won't do a healing on another person without their permission. That is also spiritual law. So those are the two limits that I have. But other than that, if you have something that you want to talk about, or that you have a question about, or you want a healing on within your own spiritual space, I am more than happy to help you do that. Or if you have a question about past lives, or how Akashic records work, or what crystals might help you through whatever you're working on. If you have grief, if you have a past life question, anything, there's not anything, but almost anything. It's kind of open. So there's a few of you that I have not seen here before. And so if you want to show your face, I am more than willing to step up to the plate with you. So Sina, how do you say your name? Let's unmute you.
Oh, Sina.
Sina. Okay, yeah, I don't want to butcher. My name gets butchered all the time, so I'm totally used to it. So you're on the hot seat right now. Do you have any questions? Is there a healing that you need something on? How can I help you?
I'd love to know about my past lives.
Okay, the deal with past lives is that we have thousands, maybe even more. Okay, this has been a very long journey that we have been on as souls, and so the way that past lives show up, a lot of people don't understand, because they'll come to me and they'll just say, I want to know who I was in the past, or what famous person was I in the past. And that's not 100% exactly how it works. The way that it works when past lives show up, what's going to show up when you ask about a past life is the lessons that you are going through in this lifetime. Those are the past lives that are going to show up, because there are so many that it's just like, okay, was I alive in 1680? Was I alive before there was a calendar? Was I alive before, people wore clothes? Was I alive in other dimensions? See what I mean? It could bring up, it could take you anywhere. And so generally the way that a past life is going to show up is, what lessons are you going through now that are karmically connected to the past? And in doing so, when we really use past lives as a healer, we can go into a past life of a lesson you are experiencing right now. And people say that you can't heal the past, but you can. Because when you go into a past life and you see the correlation of the lesson that is being carried forward because you didn't heal it in that life, whatever the lesson was, you didn't get past it. So it's going to keep coming up lifetime after lifetime until you get the message and until you've healed it. It will give you many different scenarios. Yeah. It will put you in lives with the same spirits that you had the karma with before, although you may be in different bodies and different genders and in different roles, but the lesson's going to come to you in a different way to go, I'm still here. Are you ready? So in working with that explanation, is there something specific that you're curious about in a past life?
Am I a slow learner?
Was that a serious question?
Yeah, I'm serious.
You want to know if you're a slow learner?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. No, you're not a slow learner. It's not taking me to a past life though. It's because the way that you formed the question was what it gave me was it actually gave a dark gray screen, and in the middle of the screen in bright white letters it said no, you are not a slow learner.
Thank you.
And so but let me just there's got to be okay, let me go back here. So now I'm going to laugh a little bit because it's like, am I a slow learner? So did you understand what I just was describing about how past lives show up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you want to maybe reform a question to a specific I mean, what is coming up in your life right now, in your mind? Yes, Carla, I see your chat. I'll get to you in just a second. What is coming up that is making you even ask that question?
I feel like I get, well, I guess, I get to a place in life and I think I have it all together, and then, and then that stops working, and then I go to something else. And so I feel like I'm not finding exactly the right thing. And yeah, I'm having trouble finding exactly the right thing. And so I don't know if I'm spending too long in some paths, like I should quit them sooner, or I don't know. I'm getting confused now.
Yes, and what you're talking about is actually confusing me.
Okay.
It's not really specific, other than, are you saying that you get stuck and you feel stagnant?
I feel like I find something, I'm like, okay, this is it. And that works for me for a good long time. And then it stops working. And so then I'm like, well, what was I doing with that other thing? Did I stay in that too long? Do I need to keep constantly finding new spiritual things to explore?
Do you meditate?
Yes.
When you are in meditation, do you do self-reflection?
No, I'm really trying to clear my mind at that time and just relax my system.
In meditation, when not only when we're trying to clear the mind, but that is a beautiful time to ask the questions if what I am doing now is serving me to my highest good.
Thank you.
And that to me is is more of a present day question than a past life question. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so it is really, because we all go through periods in our life where we feel stuck and where we wonder if we're on the right path. And is what I am doing at this time serving me the highest good right now? And those are questions that actually come up. The answers will come up in meditation. And then you could, so I feel like you still have questions, but it may not necessarily have to do with a past life. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so is there something specific that you want to ask to see if it's serving you to your highest good that I could look at for you?
Okay. Yeah, I could ask if my yoga practice is serving me to my highest good.
When you say that, I see light coming to you from the divine source. And as a yoga practitioner myself, whenever we are doing yoga, be it spiritual yoga, where we are in meditation with our spirit and working with our heart center on a yogini level, that is always serving you to your highest good. When we bring that into a physical practice and we are working spirit, mind, and body together, that is always to your highest good, because it's bringing your alignment, from being wonky like this, it's bringing your alignment to your soul closer and closer together. And it's interesting because when you said it, I saw 3 light lines coming right into your space, which tells me body, mind, spirit is being served when you work with your yoga practice. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, Carla, it's all yours. What question do you have?
Well, I wanted to chime in on what Rebecca was, trying to gauge more into. And I was thinking that the feeling in stuck, or if there's any given moment where anyone feels stuck, I'm just wondering if it's part of a soul contract that we have to understand, or if not, if you can explain or just give a little insights to what actually a soul contract is.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that is, I don't know that anything that she was saying was talking about a soul contract, because a soul contract, as I have been taught and know, is with another person. It's with
okay, got it.
It's with another being.
Gotcha.
And for instance, so I can go into that and I can give an example. There may be a person that you have in this life that you are just, it feels like you're going around and around and around, or you keep hitting a wall and it's like, why is this not progressing? Why is this relationship not progressing? What is going on? It could be a brother, it could be a sister, it could be a mother, it could be a coworker, it could be, that it's said that every single person that we come in contact with in our life, we have come in contact with before. Now, that's pretty big, okay? But in a soul contract, for instance, I have done many readings where parents have come to me, it could be the husband or the wife, and say, can you take a look at like me and my daughter? It's like she has a really great relationship with her dad, but she doesn't have the same relationship with me. And I don't understand. It's like, do we not have karma together? Do we do we not have a good relationship? And I'll look on a soul contract level, and the soul contract between the father and the daughter, that's where the contract lies. There is no soul contract between the daughter and the mother. And that's interesting to wrap your head around. That's when you find out, oh, so I was just a vessel to bring this human into a body so that she could work out her karma and her soul contract with her father. Yes. And that is part of your part of their soul contract. Then there's other times where I did a reading recently with a woman that has 3 kids. One of them is adopted. The adopted child there were 2 parents that adopted this child, but the child had a soul contract only with one of them. And for 16 years, this other one was wondering, why can't I get close to my daughter? But she's really close with my wife. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then when I look at it, it's like with a soul contract, even with that adopted daughter, wasn't with her birth mother. Her soul contract was with one of her adopted mothers. And they had stuff that they wanted to work out. And what it was a very loving relationship, because in a past life, one of them died at an age that they weren't able to complete their contract together in a loving way. And so it was amazing to see the map of how that all worked, of how, okay, you take a past life, somebody dies, you don't get to finish the contract, one is left with grief, and then it comes in as an adopted child from a different mother. And it's amazing how spirit works to realign people and reconnect people to complete their soul contracts. It's pretty amazing how that works. So on another note, there may be somebody that you just go head to head with this whole life, and you may have a soul contract with them that is trying to clean up karma from the past life, meaning, and maybe it's not going really well. And then you can look at, well, what was that past life about? And it might have been one of abuse, where one of the people in the soul contract was being abused and couldn't own their power. So in this life, they are brought together again in somewhat of the same energetic karmic situation. And part of breaking that soul contract is the person that was abused in the past life can now own their power and stand up to the abuser, even though it's in completely different roles, and be done with the soul contract and actually verbalize and say, I am done with this soul contract. I own